I mean, if you're going to use a cheap shop light, that's how I started out. You're going to get a nice product, but it's not going to be as quality as it would be if you were using the proper lighting. Like compared to a shop light, I've done side-by-side comparisons, and there's definitely a great difference.
Hi, Raffi. Thanks for joining the podcast today.
Hi, Taylor. Thanks for having me.
So really happy to be here with you. This is Raffi of Meyer Micros. You're down in the San Diego area. I kind of wanted to start with your background. Can you maybe give us a background about where you grew up and how you came to San Diego?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I was born in Idaho in a log cabin, actually. I wasn't born in the hospital. I have a big family. We have 7 children, and I'm right in the middle. And so, yeah, I was born in a log cabin, and we lived next to a lake as well. So we had a trail going down behind the houses. So we would always be walking down there and foraging on blueberries and boysenberries and blackberries and rhubarb and all kinds of wild stuff growing. And we would just go hang out and forage up and down the pathways and walking through the hills and stuff. So that's
Wow.
and I was at a young age, so I was really excited to learn about, the real food and stuff that grows in nature, and you don't buy it actually in a store, you
Hmm.
get it directly from the land.
So were you a vegetarian?
So yeah, our parents raised us vegetarians. We did live on a lake, so we were not technically vegetarians, but we ate fish. But other
Hmm.
than that, we didn't eat chicken, we didn't eat red meat or anything like that. But it was, I guess, a pescatarian, they call it.
Yeah, upbringing.
Raw food, vegetables, fruit, berries, stuff like that, and always have a giant salad, at least once a day.
Okay, so you've been around fresh greens your whole life, and now you're in San Diego. What are you growing now?
So yeah, right now I've been growing microgreens for 5 years, and so basically right now I've been jumping around from house to house, and I finally landed in a place. It's a rental, but I converted my 2-car garage into a grow space. So it's all insulated. It's got a air conditioner. So it's like ideally it's 70 degrees in there. It fluctuates up and down. Maybe it doesn't fluctuate up, maybe 1 degree, but going down maybe at nighttime it'll drop 2 degrees. So it's ideal temperature year round.
So what sort of drew you to growing microgreens in particular?
Well, a few years back I was growing maybe like about 10 years ago I was growing little vegetables on a patio. I didn't have a yard, it was just concrete. I built like a little raised garden bed, and I had fresh herbs, and then I had a couple pots with tomatoes in there, and it was incredible just to taste the difference from a store bought compared to what you can grow just on your own at your house.
So as a kid, you were eating this stuff off the land, and then you got older, and maybe you got jaded by super like grocery store food, and then you kind of relived it, I guess, when you started growing again, how it
Yeah, I
tasted.
mean, when you're young, you kind of like, I moved here when I was 9 years old, came to
Okay.
California, and haven't left since. So when I came here, of course, we were eating really good foods, but when you're a teenager and you don't have too much money, you tend to eat out a little bit of junk food here and there, 99-cent specials, all that to fill the gaps.
Hmm.
But that's like the opposite of where I am today and what I'm trying to bring to, the local community, and, try to reach out to as many people as I can with this gift of
Hmm.
amazing nutrition.
Yeah, you call microgreens on your website nutritional superheroes. Could you speak more about that? And
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, when the microgreens, when you eat a plant as a microgreen, which is the first couple weeks of the plant's life, that's when they have the most nutrition and the most flavor. So, I mean, some of the microgreens have over 40 times more nutritional value than the full-grown vegetable. And all you need is a little handful to get all those incredible nutrients and everything that helps you, within that little plant. And at the farmer's market, I don't sell harvested products. I sell living greens in 4-inch containers, so they're little small ones. And that way
Yeah.
people can get a variety and they can eat them living. Because the second you harvest any vegetable, it's going to start losing nutrients. So if you can eat them living, that's when you're going to gain the most benefits. And microgreens
Okay.
offer incredible benefits.
Yeah, like for example, I mean, I know they're full of antioxidants. What other sort of vitamins and minerals do they
Yeah,
offer?
they're really rich in nutrition. When you eat them, they contribute to brain health, gut health, healthy skin. They're great for detoxing, incredible for digestion. So, I mean, kids love them. They have incredible different flavors. I mean, I'm growing some cantaloupe microgreens right now that have a nice
Hmm.
cucumber flavor, and then they're really sweet, like a cantaloupe on the end. So people are really getting a kick out of them. And a lot of people ask me, how do I use these microgreens? Because people
Yeah.
are, they don't really know about them. They're not like mainstream, and a lot of people don't know about them. So I tell them all you have to do is cut them and add them to your food. It's very simple, and a little tiny handful will give you all those nutritional benefits, plus the
Right.
amazing flavor.
I think when people think of microgreens, maybe they think of a fancy steak at a five-star restaurant with just some microgreens sprinkled on top, or maybe a sandwich. You put sprouts on a sandwich traditionally. So yeah, what are some other ways besides just popping them in your mouth? What have you seen some of your customers use them with in more unique ways?
Yeah, I explained to them that with the microgreens, you can add them to a sandwich, a salad, tacos, burgers, wraps. They're great with avocado toast, of course. I mean, avocado toast is amazing, as you know. So a little handful of microgreens goes very well with that. A great pair. And then if you do a hot item like a pasta, soup, stir fry, eggs, anything warm, you just add them in right at the end. That way they stay nice and fresh. And ideally, you have live greens on your countertop, which you would cut off and put them right on your food.
So if you cut microgreens at home, will they reharvest again? Will you get a couple rounds of that with that, or is it once you cut it, it's kind of done?
So there are a couple varieties that will grow back. Uh,
Hmm.
pea shoots are one of them. If you cut them a little bit above the bottom leaf, they will give you one more grow. Uh, leeks will do the same thing. Sometimes those will grow back, but there's only a couple that will grow back, and when they do, they're not going to be as nutritionally rich. So the first time around is definitely more beneficial,
That's
but you
great.
can
Yeah.
use them a second time.
Right. So when you give people a tray, are you giving them a tray of microgreens, like with the throwaway tray included, or is it like how would they
No,
package?
what so yeah, so what I would give them would I show up with a 10-20 tray, and I have 8 plants in each tray. They're in 4-inch coconut containers. So it's a
Yeah.
compressed coconut fiber pot. And then I had organic soil in there, and then, or the organic seeds that I buy, and then filtered water. They go under germination and then straight on the racks underneath my LEDs. Actually, they're your
Okay.
LEDs you created, and they're amazing. A couple days later, and they're ready to go. Some of them may
Yes.
take a couple weeks, but usually they're pretty quick. I mean, 7 to 10 days, you got a nice set of microgreens there.
It's amazing. Yeah. So you can have fresh produce every week for your customers.
Right. Yeah. And then so I sell it to them a little bit undergrown. That way it sits on their countertop, grows an additional 7 days. They use it throughout the
Mhm.
week and hopefully come and see me or order through our website for a delivery on the next week.
And are you servicing mainly, the customer end user, the families, local people? Or are you also servicing restaurants and hotels or these kinds of customers?
We have we have a couple. Most of our sales are done right now through farmers markets. We do have a few subscribers to our website, which they will order online. They can get delivery, or they can pick it up from the farmers markets. But a majority of it, and we do have a few restaurant accounts. We're
Hmm.
looking to update our price sheets real soon here because we came up with a couple other varieties that we want to add to our list, and then we're going to shoot off to some grocery stores, hopefully a couple local ones, you know, small mom and pop ones and start from there and see what we can see how we can grow from there.
Cool. Yeah, you mentioned LED lighting and kind of how your setup is working. I wanted to ask you about sort of your techniques, your growing techniques, and your focus on sustainability. Can you explain the significance of your custom blended organic seedling mix and how, this is different than maybe how other people are growing microgreens?
Yeah, so I mean, you can use different substrates, but I like to make my own. So I get a few different varieties. I get coco coir, I get some worm casting, I get some sand. I get things that are regenerative, and I use those
Mm.
to grow my seedlings, and they grow amazing.
Do you notice with organic materials flavor differences and things like that? Coloration differences?
Yeah, you can definitely taste the difference, and not only in the soil mix, but also with the lighting you use. It depends on what lighting you use. I mean, if you're going to use a cheap shop light, which how that's how I started out, you're going to get a
Mm.
nice product, but it's not going to be as quality as it would be if you were using the proper lighting.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I'm using the LED. I think it's a light strip, and I think they're
Hmm.
20 or 23. They're equal to 23 watts or something like that. So
Right.
they're
And I
super beneficial in saving on that electricity bill for sure.
Yeah, you're just about half the energy usage and you don't have to replace lamps. So that's very nice. Do you notice with the lower heat that that's also a nice benefit?
The lower heat is crucial. At my old spot, it wasn't insulated that great, but I had the AC running nonstop, and my electric bill was way higher than it is now. It's dropped considerably. Oh, so the insulated room, like if you have a well insulated room, that definitely helps. But the low heat coming off of the lights which is barely nothing. I mean, you can grab the thing and you barely feel any heat at all coming off of it. So that really helps with keeping the room at the proper ideal
Mm.
temperature.
Because what were you saying the temperature of microgreens needs to be? 70s?
If you go above 75, it tends that you can get mold way easier. And they do grow quicker, so they'll stretch a little higher, like quicker. So ideally, you want them a bit shorter and a bit thicker stems, thicker leaves. You get a more proper product if you grow it below. I like to go below 75. I keep my room at 70. I mean, you can go 68 to like 75 tops maybe, but ideally, I like to keep it a little bit lower. That way, I don't know, my plants grow maybe a tiny bit slower, but I feel like I get a more quality product doing that.
So the benefits of the LED are lower heat, lower energy usage. Did you notice anything you think from the different spectrum versus the traditional shop lights that you were using? You think there's something to
It
be
does
said
look
for
like the
that?
plants are way healthier. Yeah, they seem to grow. They're thicker, like I said, like compared to a
Hmm.
shop light. I've done side by side comparisons, and there's definitely a great difference.
Okay. So you have more product to bring to market and you can end up selling more units because you have more yield, right?
Correct. Well, if you were doing it by weight, which on my online website, we do clamshells as well. A lot of people that order on our website, they'll get a harvested pack. So yeah, that's when the weight comes in handy. Or if you're selling to restaurants or grocery stores, stuff like that, it
Hmm.
makes a big difference.
And are you happy with the coloration that you're seeing of these different microgreens? I know that some are greener than others. Some, have there's radish that has the purple stems, and there's all kinds of colors that happen with these beautiful microgreens. Have you seen what you expect to see with that?
Definitely. Yep. Really nice coloring. The red garnet
And it,
amaranth, the beets, the cilantro. I mean, you get incredible coloration.
and is that also good when you have customers walking by at the farmers market and they can look down at the table and just see these different varieties? Does that kind of draw their eye to you?
Oh yeah, definitely. When you have a rainbow of microgreens sitting there, you got purples, you got pinks, you got light green, dark greens, you got some reds, you get mixes. And that I've had many people come up to me and say, "You have the best looking booth at this farmers market," you know? And they may not even be a customer, they're just so drawn to
Hmm.
the amazing growth and coloration of.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and happy it's working out for you. Before you started your journey into microgreens, your venture, like what made you decide to say one day, I want to do this. I want to go to these markets. I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to focus on microgreens.
Well, basically, I was watching YouTube videos growing my vegetables, and then I saw somebody growing microgreens, and went down that YouTube rabbit hole and tried. I started off with a just a basic coconut fiber grow pad, and just tried that with seeds and water, and it worked great. It worked amazing. So I was starting with that. I did a little run with that for a little while, and that was all hydroponic. I just used filtered water and would just mist them from the top. Um, some of the varieties didn't work great with that, so that's why I switched over to soil. And then I was tired of buying, somebody's soil, so I would buy bulk items and make my own. When I went
Oh,
to the soil, I found that every variety that I tried to grow grew really well, opposed to some hydroponic methods where like sunflowers and some of the varieties don't grow that great.
and then what did you say? I want to offer these microgreens for sale.
So I started growing 5 years ago, started selling about 3 years ago, and then we just started, and that was 3 years ago. That was we set up the website, so we were selling through that way. So we got
Mhm.
some subscribers and stuff, and then started hitting the farmers markets this year in January. And so now
So
we
this is
built
all
up to
new.
4 farmers markets, and then we have the subscribers as well. Yeah,
So you're busy now. It's a full-time
I'm
job.
very busy. Yeah, full time job. I harvest on Monday. I deliver on Tuesday. I have a farmer's market on Wednesday, a farmer's market on Thursday. I plant again on Friday. I got a farmer's market on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, trying to book you for this interview is not the easiest thing.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah,
No, you're
it's
good.
hard to find a little bit of time, but it is great when you do.
That's awesome. Yeah, you said you got our lights like 3 years ago. So to see the progress that you've made with them and your expansion is so great to hear. You said you were with somebody that's helping you. Who's that, and how are they helping?
Did I say that? I didn't know.
You said we. So I don't know, or we as a
Oh,
company.
me. I
Maybe you
just
meant.
yeah. Well, me and my well, technically she's my wife, Lisa. She helps me with delivery. She helps me with all the literature, coming up with great things to write and advertisements and stuff like that. And when I get down and I think I want to quit, she's like, "You're not doing that." So she always lifts me up when I get low.
Aw,
And yeah, she's a great team, great partner.
that's awesome. Yeah. So she's all in with this microgreen vision that you have, and bringing this to people.
100%, yeah. One of her best friends actually created our logo, which is really, really fun.
Yeah, no, I like your branding. I love your website. Your story is super interesting. What you're going with, like it's great for especially in California. You're hitting all the right notes there.
Very cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So yeah, you're in Cardiff by the Sea. Is that the name of the community?
Yeah, so I grew up in Cardiff, and Encinitas, and I kind of been jumping around. But originally, I moved to Cardiff, so grew up there. And as I got older, just moved around the little cities right around real close, the surrounding towns. And so right now, we're in Carlsbad, California. So
Okay.
that's about
And
10 minutes from Cardiff by the sea.
and you said that you have four farmers markets. So how I'm guessing how has the community like influenced you and supported your business? I'm guessing they have.
Yeah, definitely. With open arms. At the very beginning of the year, it was pretty cold and slow and rainy and windy. And for some reason, some of our markets are cursed, and it just seems like they always get bad weather. And those are usually the ones that are doing their week, so they're a bit slower. But as far as people taking to the microgreens, they love them. And it's more of like an education thing because they don't really know about it. So I do a great deal of explaining what they are and how they can help. And then I give out free samples of each of them. And once people try them, they get blown away and they end up being a customer. 9 times, like probably 8 out of 10 people that try it, they end up taking some home for sure. and they usually have really pleasant things to say.
So it sounds like the business has grown. Have there been any like challenges that you faced when you started out or midway through, or that you dealt with and slowed you down? And I know you have your wife helping you and cheering you on, but how did you overcome some of those specific instances of, having an issue?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Some problems that we face are like, soil issues. You get, well, this is when I was buying soil. It was, I'd get good batches and then they'd go bad, or then the next batch would be bad. And then same thing with seeds. You never know. That's why it's good nowadays. Like I'll buy ahead of time. That way I can try them out, test them out, do a couple together side by side, and see which ones work well. And hopefully, next time you buy seeds, try to buy a bulk amount of that seed so that you have some in stock, because you're up against it with nature. You never know what you're going to get. The seeds I do get are all tested, and they're all, very high germination rates. But occasionally you'll get a few that are off. But that's just, part of nature. So the elements, and then, growing from the beginning, I never had a ideally climatized spot to grow. So that's a huge factor, because in the summertime, a room, depending on where you are, if you got windows or what's going on, but rooms can get over 80 degrees, 85, 90 degrees, and plants definitely don't like that. So right now I'm in a very comfortable spot figuring it out. And I've also finally found the grow pots that I'm using now are compostable as well. You can plant them in your garden. I tell people use 90-95% as a microgreen. Plant this coconut pot in the ground in your yard. It's going to grow into full-grown vegetables, herbs, flowers, melons, whatever the vegetable is. It's the same seed. We just plant really dense and use them as microgreens because they're so nutrient rich. So I'm super excited. I found the coconut grow pots in bulk for a decent price.
Okay, so you've got all your supplies lined up. You've kind of gotten through those choke points, and now things are, more predictable. So you're able to stick to this sustainability of doing the microgreens. And I have a question, like, how do you strike a balance between, keeping your microgreens affordable for your customer while maintaining the quality, and then also doing the sustainable method that you are using?
So yeah, basically I'm just growing as much as I can for the customers. I'm not overgrowing. I overgrow a little bit. That way I have extra to give out for samples and stuff like that for the restaurants and things that we're hitting up nowadays.
Hmm.
But yeah, just it's trial and error. Sometimes it's week to week and you don't know. So, you just have to fight through those hard times and make it affordable as you can, but you're not trying to sink yourself. So there's got to be a nice balance there. So that does take some figuring. And to be completely honest, I'm not completely there. We're still we're still right there too, trying to figure it out as well.
Sure. You just started doing the farmers markets a year ago, so yeah, you still have plenty of time. Do you see a lot of competition in this area in San Diego, or do you feel like you're the only ones doing this kind
Yeah,
of
there is
thing? It's
actually. There's a bit of
interesting.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely competition. There's a few farms that target restaurants, high-end restaurants, and other restaurants. So they have, but there's always room. I mean, there's microgreen people. Sometimes at my larger markets, there can be two microgreen people, and they usually have one on either end. And hopefully, and normally, you would have one that does harvested greens only, and then one that offers live greens. So there's a difference there. And I offer live greens, so I feel like I'm offering a more beneficial product, but at the same time, microgreens, no matter what, are incredible. So if the market's big enough, that's great. But on some of the smaller ones, it can be difficult, especially during the week.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. I want to ask you, where do you see your business in the next few years? 5 to 10 years, that's a bit of a ways out, but maybe the next 2 to 5 years. Where do you see your business? What are your plans? Like, you seem to be expanding quickly. What's next?
Yeah. Well, the next step is hiring somebody so they can do the farmers market, so I can concentrate more on sales and traveling around and going to the restaurants and grocery stores and putting in the hard work and trying to build it that way and getting more subscribers and stuff like that. So that way it can free up some time for me. So that would be definitely the first thing to do for sure.
Do you think you'd need to get to larger space potentially, or do you think your space is good for now?
Well, to be honest, it's pretty wild. That's what's so amazing about the microgreens is you don't need a giant space to grow an insane amount of microgreens. I mean, I have two grow racks they're not even full. Like one and a half racks is full, and then I have two germinating racks, and one of them is full, and I have enough room and to add six more growing racks and two more germinating racks, and my grow space is 300 square feet.
Yeah, that's amazing. You can always add another shelf, as well, usually. So as long as your vertical height's good, you could do a lot with that with microgreens. As an entrepreneur in the sustainable farming world, what key advice or insights would you give with someone else like looking to venture into this field? If they're a home grower or just a small farmer that wants to go to their local farmers market, what would you say to that person, or what are some insights you could share?
Some insights I would share would probably be it's fairly easy to grow microgreens. The thing is, you gotta, it's all trial and error though, so you got to start somewhere. So ideally, get a grow kit, start out, try it out, see if you like it, and definitely don't go too big too quick, especially when you're buying equipment and stuff like that. I feel like I did jump the gun and get a bit too rowdy and bought too much, too many trays, too many things, but now I'm growing into it, so it's great. I'm really happy I have them. So definitely start small when you're starting out.
And you kind of also, I mean, you're a grower and you know how to do sales and you're business minded. Which one of those came first? Or like, how did you realize you had all these components?
Well, to be honest, the first time I ever done a sale was in January when I started the farmers market, like a face-to-face sale. We've had online sales, but never like a face-to-face customer sale. Mm-hmm. So I'm learning. I don't think I'm great at sales, but I know I have a great product. I just need to work on my marketing literature a little bit, signage, and I'm set. I know I have a winning product and people are buying it, so I know it's amazing.
Yeah, and I think your story and your message is really, really beautiful, and I think it'll serve your clients well. I think when you approach those grocery stores with that message, I think it's gonna impress people. But yeah, and then the coloration and the flavor, I think having people, like, you're generous with having people try your product first, that's gonna really open some doors for you. So I really wish you all the best. And if you need anything from me, I'm here to help. And, congratulations on your growth and continued growth.
Thank you, Taylor. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well,
and I love being able to contribute, a healthy product to the community here. I feel like I'm doing something positive and it gets me excited.
No, that's great. So if anyone is in the Encinitas area, make sure to visit Meyer Micros, check out their website, check out their Instagram. I'm going to share all the links after the show. Is there any other final thoughts you want to share with us, Raffi?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, and I hope everybody stays healthy. If you do come to San Diego, come by our farmers market, try out some samples. You'll be blown away about the taste and flavor, and then you can read about the nutrition and hopefully become a microgreen consumer, because they do wonders for your body and your mind and your happiness.
I love it. Thank you again, Raffi, for your time, and I'll speak with you soon.
Thank you, Taylor. Have a great day.
You too.